and it will be interesting whether any announcement will come out specifically about which members of the royal family will appear on the balcony, or indeed which members will be in the procession from the Abbey to the palace, and whether therefore Harry and Meghan are mentioned. I think that's going to be quite interesting to see how the palace play that one.
And the plans for the coronation of King Charles III in May have now been confirmed. And sorry to disappoint, but he will not be wearing silk stockings or breeches. It's the news we were all fearing, well, isn't it? Anna Whitelock, royal historian, can take us through what will be happening. Anna, good morning.
Good morning.
And I suppose the first thing to say is that this will be quite a grand weekend of royal celebration.
Well, grand, yes, but I think the messaging from the palace and what they're trying to curate here is very much really an emphasis on family and community, friends and fun. They're trying to hit those notes, which are familiar to people, rather than focusing on the historical, weighty significance and the rather antiquated moment of the coronation. So it's royal in the very modern ways we've come to understand it. And of course, they're ultimately hoping that crowds will turn out in the mile and endorse and affirm the king, which is actually what coronations are about. It's about public acclamation, and that's really what they're hoping for.
Yeah. So the coronation service will be on Saturday, the 6th of May at Westminster Abbey. There'll be a procession. There'll be a balcony moment at Buckingham Palace as well. Then on Sunday the 7th, there's a concert and a light show at Windsor Castle. And that's the day that they're pushing for the coronation big lunch street parties. And then, of course, on Monday the 8th of May, it's an extra bank holiday. And also this encouragement to get people involved in local volunteering. And within all of that, Anna, a break with tradition, because the Queen Consort will be crowned Queen alongside the King.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a break with tradition in the grand sweep of history, but yes, there was talk that perhaps the Queen, Camilla, wouldn't be some time ago, but yes, she will be. There's also been some suggestion that, the coronation oath, which upholds the Church of England, the King promises to defend its rights, could be revised. Well, for that to happen, there would need to be changes in legislation, and I can't imagine that the government's going to be focusing on that in the next couple of weeks and months. So that's unlikely to happen. So there's going to be a sense of very much the traditional, although the ceremony is going to be much shorter. For the Queen's, it was about 3 hours long. And also the procession afterwards, which for the Queen was, went on for hours. It was very much about London, seeing the Queen, went right through Trafalgar Square, Pall Mall and all of that. This return ceremonial procession will be shorter, and it will go from the Abbey to the Palace. But of course, many, many people will be crowded out, glimpsing the royal family and the military and all those that make up that ceremonial procession.
Yeah, just on the service that you mentioned there, and it kind of being a bit shorter than the Queen's, which sounds like a bit of a marathon if we're honest. But so some elements of the service are going to be reduced. I was reading this morning, such as the paying of homage, and a claims office is currently looking at which roles should be included. Previous coronations have had historic roles such as the Rouge Dragon Pursuivant, the Unicorn Pursuivant, and carriers of the Golden Spur and the White Wand. I don't know what any of that means, Anna.
Well, I'm impressed that you even attempted to say all of that mouthful. It's so unfamiliar to everybody. Yeah, I mean, these are, antiquated positions, ceremonial positions of the royal court. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There's what's called the sort of claims office, which is basically some kind of exploration of what of this is actually necessary. And of course, most of it now isn't. In terms of the paying of homage, there's also the intent to reduce that, rather than all the lords and great aristocrats doing that. That will be cut down too. And as you said at the beginning, yes, the suggestion is that Charles won't be wearing the silk stockings and so on. Although apparently he was quite happy to. It was those around him who thought it might not look very modern, and instead he's going to wear the military uniform that we've seen him wear when he stepped in for the Queen at the opening of Parliament.
Gosh, will nobody think of the pursuivants, who have got a tense few months ahead of them as to whether they'll be included or not. I want to sort of consider as well, while we're speaking about people attending and not, there's going to be no official role for Harry at the coronation service if he attends. Is this actually what's going to dominate discussions between now and, well, any confirmation either way?
Well, I mean, it's been slightly misleadingly written up, the idea that Harry's been written out of the ceremony. It's more that this idea of the Duke's paying homage to the King is not going to be there. So, in that sense, there's not that sort of formal moment. But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, there's going to be will they, won't they discussions, probably right up until the coronation. And it will be interesting whether any announcement will come out specifically about which members of the royal family will appear on the balcony, or indeed which members will be in the procession from the abbey to the palace, and whether therefore Harry and Meghan are mentioned. I think that's going to be quite interesting to see how the palace play that one. I suspect they will be able to say it will be working royals on the balcony, but then some might say, well, Harry is the king's son. It's a big moment for the king, and perhaps odd that he wouldn't be there. It could be a moment of reconciliation. So, yeah, I think whether we like it or not, there will be much discussion about that one.
Anna, it's great to speak to you, and it's nice, isn't it, to have this to look forward to, because it will be exciting. It will be a moment, and it'll last a whole weekend, which is really nice
Well,
as
it will
well.
be a day off. I mean, for some people, it will be exciting because there's a bank holiday. So
Yes,
we don't
that's
want to
true.
overstate the enthusiasm across the country. Yes, in places, but for some people, it is the excuse to have a party.
Yeah, and rightly so. Anna, thank you very much. Great to speak to you, and I'm sure we'll catch up again. That is Anna Whitelock, a royal historian. Of course, we all know who the current unicorn pursuivant is, don't we?